Hi children, welcome to Euclid Learning. This is chapter 7 of grade 7. Haven't watched my previous videos. I have separately done videos for grade 6 and for grade 7 from first chapter, right? This is the 7th chapter. So for this chapter, we'll be having 3 videos separately for 3 parts. So this is the first part of it. Start grade 7, chapter 7, using internet for information and communication. So what do you mean by internet? So before going to internet, what is a network? A network is a collection of two or more computers, right? So if you have two or more computers interconnected, we'll call it as a network. So internet is the network of a network. That means it's an extra large or it's the biggest network in the world where you can find large number of computers and computer networks. So it's the largest network in the world, right? So in the internet, there are millions of computers because it is covering whole world, right? So why internet is very important? Because internet is having so many resources like information, videos, images. So it is very helpful, especially for students at this stage with this COVID situation. Internet is playing a very huge role, especially in the education as well, right? So these are the few services you can get or you can obtain from the internet apart from education. So rather than education, you can use internet for entertainment. You can watch videos. You can listen to music. You can send emails, right? You can do online purchasing, buying and selling. You can do computer games, map observations, and video conferencing like Zoom. These days, it's very important, right? So internet is very essential service nowadays. So we can get lot of information from the internet, right? So World Wide Web and Uniform Resource Location. So any idea what is this World Wide Web? WWW. So that's the main service provided by the internet. We'll see what is it. So no, usually a website will have so many web pages, right? You may have gone to different kinds of websites, right? So in a website, there are multiple web pages. So World Wide Web is actually collection of websites, right? So there are millions of websites in the World Wide Web. So this is actually called as World Wide Web, right? So www. So in the internet, you can find a lot of websites, and that is the main service provided in the internet. So then they're talking about a uniform resource locator. So there may be a problem for you if we have millions of websites in internet or the www. How can we identify each of them? So they should have some kind of a unique way to identify each of these things, resources, right? So URL or Uniform Resource Locator is actually the address of each of these resources, right? There are so many resources in the World Wide Web. So to identify particular resource, like our house addresses, there is a particular address for each resource. So we call this as Uniform Resource Locator or URL as the short name, right? For example, they haven't given you some URL. So www.facebook.com, www.google.com. So these are URLs. You can identify that particular resource easily, right? So when it comes to websites, there are secured websites as well as unsecured websites. So some websites actually doesn't need much security. right? If it is just to view some information, something like that, it is not needing a lot of security in there. But think if you do some online payments and you are sharing your credit card informations, then yes, these websites should be very secure. It's very important them to become secure. Think you are sharing a lot of credentials and a lot of personal information and those things. Yes, those things, those websites need so much security, right? So these secure websites we can easily identify by two methods. One thing is these website address will be starting with HTTPS. So actually this is a protocol, right? Don't worry too much what is this. Sometimes you may have seen HTTP. So that is the protocol without security. HTTPS means uh, this is engaged with security. And if you have HTTPS, no, usually you can see this padlock symbol in front of the address bar, right? So if you see these two uh, signs, you can decide, yes, this website is more secured, and definitely this is using more secure information for processing, right? That's why they have secured it. Then comes about the video conferencing. Actually, video conferencing means you are conducting discussions, meetings, and uh, those things using video technology on internet, right? So there may be multiple people, right? Not maybe it can be two people or a lot of people, maybe two groups, right? But they don't need to be physically in the same place. That's the most important thing, right? They are geographically in different places, maybe in different countries even, right? So they are at different distances, but they are having a meeting, right? Using the video technology. Now, these days, Zoom meetings are very common for you, right? So this is not a new thing for you now because mainly because of this COVID situation. So you may have faced to different kind of Zoom meetings. So that is a video conferencing, right? So usually in our profession, we are having a lot of video conferencing with maybe a client, with sometimes we get some technical helps. So it can be different parties. They are from different countries, different time zones, but still we are having a common meeting at a same time, although even though we are in different geographical locations, right? So this is very important concept, right? Now, which is very important in these days, especially, right? Yeah. So what are the advantages? So main thing is like initial cost is reduced, right? For example, think now I want to have a discussion with a client in US, right? So I have to travel there. So my yeah, ticketing, my accommodation, all these things has to be done in order to have that meeting, right? So that whole cost is now not there because I can just arrange a Zoom meeting and I can have an online call, video conferencing. So cost is very less. I don't have to travel for that particular location, right? So transport cost at the same time, my time, I don't have to sacrifice everything and travel to US at this moment. I can just have a call, right? So and it can be quickly arranged, right? For example, if I have to take a urgent requirement, if I have to physically travel, it will take around at least 1 week to get ready, to book the tickets, to get visa, like that. But now, if I want to take an urgent requirement, at that moment itself, if the time zones matches, I can arrange a call. Okay. So for the video conferencing, there are so many softwares available, um, like Zoom, Skype. Those things are more popular. Especially Zoom is very popular these days. Um, Skype was popular when we were schooling, but nowadays it's Zoom, right? So to have a video conference, you need a software, right, for the video conferencing. In addition to that, you need a computer. right? If you have a desktop computer, you need a web camera as well if to have the video session. Otherwise, you can just have audio session. So, or if you have a laptop, you have an inbuilt camera there. So no need of a web camera separately. You need an internet connection. So that's very important thing. Without internet connection, you cannot have video conference. So you need a internet connection. Then comes the email, right? So what do you mean by email? Most probably you may know this. If you don't know, like it's kind of a letter. It's like you are sending a letter, right? Like the normal post, right? So if I want to send a letter, either you can send it using the snail mail, or that means the normal mail, registered post or normal mail. You can write a letter, you can put it to envelope, and you can have stamps, and then you can go to the post box and put it, then that letter will be delivered. So that's a one way to send a letter. Nowadays, we use emails, right? It's a more easier way, more cheaper way to send some letter, right? So, email is actually electronic letters, right? Which is electronic exchange between two or several people, several parties, which each of these parties should have an email address. Like no, like the house address, you should have an email address. So, if you have email address, I can send an email for you. So, not like the ordinary mail or the snail mail. Here we can include letters, photos, videos, documents. But remember, there is a size you can send. You cannot upload like kind of a film in an email and send. There is a size like of data you can send, but still you can send some videos, audio clips, and all these things, which cannot be sent in the ordinary mail, right? So send an email, you should have an email account, right? You have to find kind of suitable service provider, and then you have to create an email account, right? For example, this Hotmail, Gmail, Yahoo, there are very popular email account providers, account service providers, right? So email, what are the benefits or what are the characteristics of email, right? So this is very cheap because actually if you have an internet connection, sending an email is totally free. But if you go with the ordinary mail, you have to write the letter on a paper, and then you have to have an envelope, then you have to have a stamp, right? So if you're sending the letter for foreign country, the stamp cost will be a bit high, right? But that those things are not here. It's very cheap. It's actually free if you don't consider about the internet connection, and it's very quick, right? So you can send copies of one email to several people, right? For example, after you send also same thing, same email, you can forward it to another person without even editing if you want, right? But that facility is not there in the ordinary mail. You have to write another letter, or at least you have to take a print out of the letter, and you should have separate envelopes, separate stamps and all to send another copy of the same thing, right? So if that particular email is not sent, for example, think your email address is wrong, right? Then definitely it will be notified with a reply message that we cannot find such kind of a address, right? Seems the email address is wrong, kind of a message will be displayed, right? So you can keep all your email address saved and keep them in the address book, so you don't have to remember all these email addresses. You can just use like the in a phone you save all your contact details, you can have all these email addresses saved, right? uh, so actually the recording, for the recording purpose, it's very important because when you send an email, the date, time, and you have sent this, those information is available, right? So if somebody tell, I didn't get that information, I don't know what are you talking about, right? If somebody is telling like that, you can tell, see here on this date, I have sent you an email. right? You have some kind of a proof, right? So it's very important, especially in the official matters. Email plays a huge role in there, right? Right? Because if you send a normal post, if you have registered post, at least you have some proof. Otherwise, there's no proof if you send just an ordinary mail. But email, we have all this information saved, so we can show. So the ability to forward, I told you, you can forward emails, right? And you can attach a different kind of data information very easily to an email. You can use even attachments, right? So here they have given you some kind of a model is the email address, right? So this is the recipient's email address, right? So to whom you are going to send this, right? So actually when you talk about the email address, they have explained it here. So someone at, and then you have this domain name, right? So someone is the username, right? At, and then you have the domain name, right? So this LK means that this email address is Sri Lankan one, right? So you can say LK, org, com. There are kind of a different kind of domains you can say, right? Then the second thing is you have this new button, right? Compose. This composing means, or sending a new mail means, you are going to have a new uh, email. You are going to send a new email to a new party, right? So in the third one, two, right? In the two means the recipient address, you have to mention them, right? Then you can see there are two things, right? CC and BCC here. So CC means actually carbon copy, right? And BCC means the blind carbon copy. So you have to understand what this is, right? So if you put any email address on the CC section, that means carbon copy section, right? I think you have three people mentioned there, right? So these people, uh, both of these CC and BCC, we used to send emails, right? But with a different purpose. Now, if you put three email addresses in the CC section, that means all these three people and the person who's in the two section also see this that this email had been sent for four people, right? But if you put some email addresses in the blind carbon copy section, that means BCC section, the email addresses provided in this uh, email section are not visible to other people. Understood? So the other people who are in the 2 and CC sections cannot see that this email address has been used here. That means this person also getting an email. That information is not visible if you put any email addresses in the BCC section. But all the addresses in 2 and CC are visible for people who are in the BCC section. Right? Confused or not? Right? So here they have given some examples. There are three email addresses, right? So these email, now for example, Amara is in 2, Nayana is in CC section, Meena is in BCC section. Okay. Now, can you think and tell me, like Meena, who is in the BCC section, can see that this email has been sent for Amara and Nayana both because she is in the BCC section. But when it comes to Nayana, Nayana knows this email has been sent only for Amara. She cannot see the Meena's one because Meena's address was in the BCC section. So only Meena knows this email was sent to Amara and Nayana in addition to me. But when it comes to Amara, she knows this email has sent only for Nayana because Nayana is only in the CC section. Uh, she doesn't know about the Meena. And the same story for Nayana. Nayana also only sees that this email had been sent only for Amara because Amara is in the two section. But Nayana also doesn't know that email was sent for Meena. Understood the BCC? BCC means it's like kind of a hidden recipients of the email. But the people who are in the BCC can see the other recipients. Okay. Then in this section, subject, you have to put a subject. Usually when you are sending an email, you have to add a title or a subject because it's about the topic. What are you going to talk in this email, right? It's very important. You have to have a very meaningful subject, especially in the official matters. You can quickly see what is this about. Sometimes if it is not important, you can just skip it. Okay, so title or the subject is very important. Okay, then comes the attachments or attach. From here, you can do any attachments like you can attach photos, videos, audio files, right? Some kind of Excel sheet, some kind of a Word document. Okay. So here in this panel, you can see some folders, right? So here you can see some emails, right? So inbox means all the emails which was sent by other people, right? What you have received can be seen in the inbox. So if you haven't opened the email still, you can see it in the bold letters or kind of a dark color. So the person who has sent the message and to whom it has been sent can be seen in the inbox, right? Then comes the sent, right? So sent will include all the emails you have sent for other parties, right? Then comes the junk, right? So any idea what is junk or the spam mails, right? Junk or the spam mails means unnecessary mails or the spam mails. Actually, this is automatically done by your email service provider. It will identify whether this particular email you got is junk or spam, and then it will be putting it to the junk folder or the spam folder. But actually, like the promotions, these advertisements, those kind of emails will be put there. Sometimes important emails also, with a mistake kind of thing, it can be put into junk or spam. So if you send some email and that part, if it's telling no, I didn't get that email, you have to ask them to check first in the junk folder or the spam folder because sometimes your email may be in the junk folder. Okay. Then comes the trash. Trash means the emails which you delete will be temporary kept there. So if you want to delete the folder, delete the emails in that particular folder also, you can delete it. So then it will be permanent delete. Otherwise, those all these deleted emails will be kept temporary in this trash folder. Right. So the last one is the contacts. Right. So here it will keep all the email addresses and the contact information of different parties. Right. Right. So you can either sign in, right? So if you have an account, you can just go and log in. Otherwise, you can create an account, right? So here you can change your language, right? So you have to give the first name, the last name, right? So we'll see the Euclid learning whether it's there. So that is okay, kind of. Otherwise, it will tell this email address is not available. So then you have to change it, right? Okay, so date of birth, we have to give something because these is things they will consider as so like this. Okay, so this is the window, right? So compose, so the new thing is here. See, I can send the to address. I can put a subject here, right? And so here CC, BCC, those fields you can add, right? So these are all the recipients you can have. Then the subject, and then you have um, content. So here you can do the attachments, right? So you can attach anything here. And this is the folders I talked about, right? So inbox will have all the mails you got. So only I have got the Google's community email because just now only I created this particular email. Sent, I haven't sent anything, so it's empty, right? So if you send some email, you will get some emails here. And draft, it was not in your textbook, but draft means you, like, for example, like this, you write something here. Hi, Samara, I want to get, like, you do it halfway and you just keep it. You don't delete it. You just keep it. You want it to be in the draft. See, in the draft, you got something. Here, you can edit that particular email and use it, right? So basically, drafting, uh, draft folder. Basically, the draft folder will have the emails which are not complete, but it will be kept for the future reference, right? And here you have the spam folder, or some will have junk folder. So here you have some emails you got this level, spam level. Okay. So those are the basic things you should know when you want to send an email. Be doing a separate video for the rest of the parts. There will be two parts. Mm, So thank you very much for being with us. So if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please go and subscribe it. And please click the bell notification as well. So you will get all the notifications when I upload a new video. So please do comment. Please ask any questions if you have. So thank you very much. Please be with us.